A petition against Prince Harry receiving an award for his work with veterans has now reached over 50,000 signatures.
Yeah, so the controversy is around the Duke of Sussex receiving the Pat Tillman Award for his work with the Invictus Games, which is typically given to individuals with a, quote, strong connection to sport.
Yes, so Pat Tillman, a former American footballer who gave up his work in the sport to join the armed forces in the wake of 9/11, was killed sadly in Afghanistan in 2004.
His mother, Mary, believes there are more deserving recipients of the award than the Duke, who she described as controversial and divisive.
Gosh, she doesn't hold back, does she? Should we speak to former BBC royal correspondent Michael Cole? Michael, this sounds all a little bit awkward for Prince Harry. Do you think it's justified, this petition?
Good afternoon, Emily. Good afternoon, Ben. Valour is sometimes described as discretion, and perhaps this is a case where the Prince could very politely decline this important award because he would not want to be booed when accepting it, because this is controversial. I hear that the signatures are piling on. I've even heard the figure of 60,000. And why this is important is that the Americans take the Pat Tillman Award very, very seriously. As you just outlined, he gave up a $3 million football contract to serve his country, and he went to Afghanistan and Iraq, and he was killed there, tragically, by friendly fire, but he was awarded the Silver Star for valour. What the people feel, and that it was expressed by his mother, was that Prince Harry has said things and done things recently which make him unworthy of receiving this award. Actions have consequences, as we all know. Now, I would commend, and I think most people would commend, his 2 tours of duty in Afghanistan. He served this country well as an Apache commander, a helicopter attack commander, and also the fact that he set up the Invictus Games. He saw the Warrior Games in America, and he modelled the Invictus, which means undefeated, on those games. But all of that was done pre-Meghan. And of course, we all know what's happened since his wedding in 2017 to Meghan Markle. There have been repeated attacks on senior members of the royal family. And in America, and I'm quite sure many of these signatures are American, the royal family is and remains very popular. The late Queen was very popular, and the Prince and Princess of Wales, William and Kate, are extremely popular in America. So maybe if he's being advised properly, Prince Harry may reflect that discretion is the better part of valour and politely decline.
There's exclusive polling for Newsweek, which is the US publication, typically, I guess, described as kind of a mouthpiece for Harry and Meghan. But their new polling from a few weeks ago says that the Duchess of Sussex was liked by 36% of US adults and disliked by 24%. And that gives her a net approval rating of 12, which is equivalent to King Charles's. Do you believe that?
Yeah, well, that's interesting. But I believe that one of the most recent popularity polls showed that Kate, the Princess of Wales, had a popularity rating of something like 60% or more than that, so almost double the Meghan rating. Of course, polls are very much on our mind today, although we don't mention them anymore, and it will be interesting to see. But what is interesting is that the public perception of the prince, who was the happy prince, the warrior prince, the man who served his country very well from the front seat of an Apache attack helicopter, is now a controversial figure, as Pat Tillman's mother so eloquently put it. It's a great shame, and it's a great shame to see what this country has lost, because I was only thinking recently the Duchess of Cambridge, Sophie, Duchess of Edinburgh, Sophie, went to Kiev and did a good job there with all the people who are suffering in Ukraine. But that's exactly the job that, had he still stayed as a working member of the royal family, that Prince Harry has been doing, working with people who've been in the combat zones and have suffered as a result of it. It's all a great big pity. We'll have to see whether he wants to accept this award, but it can be nothing less, Emily, than controversial.
Yeah, that's how I feel about the whole thing. It is all rather sad. Prince Harry could have done such a fantastic job as a royal, as a working royal. But, Michael, just very quickly, do you think Prince Harry is the type to politely decline this award with this petition, or do you think he'll still go ahead?
Well, I'm sure he'll listen to what his wife says. I wish he was listening to good public relations people who would guide him on these things, because public perception is very important, particularly in his role. And he has to live by the marketplace now. He and his wife have to get their income, and they have a very expensive lifestyle, by appealing to the public. And people get turned off quite quickly by the wrong sort of actions. And I think showing a little bit of discretion, showing a little bit of nobility, shall we say some princely behaviour, might be important here. He might issue a good statement praising the valour of Pat Tillman and leave it at that and say, we'll leave this for another occasion. On the other hand, he should continue with his work with Invictus and make sure that that's his life's work, because that is, in anybody's book, highly commendable.
Yes, he needs to make sure that he doesn't appear as though it's all about him, doesn't he, when it's about these matters. Thank you so much, Michael Cole. Always fantastic to talk to you, former BBC Royal correspondent. Good stuff.
I think it's important not to forget Harry's service to this country.
Of course.
I know he's not very popular. I'm his, one of his biggest critics of recent years. But I think sometimes we do forget, as Michael alluded to, his service in Afghanistan. He's a chopper pilot, etc., etc.
Yeah, which is more than a lot of people have done.
Exactly.
So there you go. Let us know your thoughts. Do you think he should politely decline this award on this occasion?